Okay, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when or where you are connecting to us from. It's a pleasure having everybody here, right? It's about 3 minutes to the kickoff time, and thought to start this so that everybody can see the notification that we are up and running now. So we're going to wait for more people to join us before we proceed. But it's a pleasure having everybody here on this platform, the Trading Live platform, the platform that brings us different traders from different parts of the world. But yes, indeed, it's a pleasure having everybody here. We are going to be talking about a few instruments. We're going to be talking about the news, that is the fundamentals, what has been happening throughout this week, and of course, what we should be expecting, because the week is not yet over, and I can tell you for a fact that we still have some more explosive movement. We still have some good volatility that is scheduled in the market this week. Today is Thursday, right? And then for some people, it might be about 2 p.m., and that is the UK time. And then for some people, it might be around 9 a.m. your time, probably if you're in the Eastern time zone. If you're in Pacific, it might be around 6 a.m. your time, just like me. All right, so whatever time you are on, it's a pleasure having you here. I can see more people are joining. It's a pleasure. Before we even dive in, before we're going to kick off fully with our discussion, for those that are here, please just let us know where you are connecting to us from. I always like it when we know where we are connecting from, as some of us might be somewhere in Europe, some of us might be somewhere in Canada, the US, Africa, and so on. It's always good for us to know where we're connecting from. As we said earlier, this platform Trading Live is bringing us different traders from different parts of the world together. And of course, what we're going to be discussing fully today is market analysis, the live market analysis based on what is happening now, and of course based on our expectations of happenings around us. Right, we've had some key news come out this week, and of course we have the big one coming out tomorrow as well. So if you are new to the business, you're also welcome, and if you are struggling, you are welcome as well. So kindly do something for us. Let us know where you are connecting to us from, and then also let us know the issues. What issues have you been having in the business? I want us to try to address them now before I start showing you charts, because when it comes to trading, when it comes to live trading, we need to look at charts, and we need to ensure that we pay attention to what's happening and how to take advantage, right? So for those joining us, you're welcome. So let's dive in. I'll wait for your replies with respect to where you are connecting to us from, one, and then also if you have any questions, any issues when it comes to trading. Is it risk management? Is it fundamental analysis, how to interpret the news? Is it the technical analysis, how to develop and implement a trading strategy? Let us know, and then we would continue from there. Okay, so looking at the chart that we have right in front of us, this is gold, and we talked about this yesterday. And yesterday, when we were discussing gold, this had not yet happened. We did not have a breakout like this. Yesterday, when we were talking about gold, it was still somewhere around here, right? So you can always watch the replay to have a better understanding on what we discussed yesterday. And based on supply demand, based on support resistance, which happens to be rather similar, right, but still different. Based on that, yesterday we discussed the fact that the price on gold had been in a long-term range. If you look at here and this box over here, that's been in the long-term range where this has been acting as a form of resistance. And then something happened. Price now did what? It now breached it over here. And then we said, if the dollar, because the US dollar is a key indicator when it comes to directional bias. It's a key indicator to the rest of the major currency pairs. The likes of Euro USD, Pound USD, AUD USD, USD CHF, USD JPY, and the rest of them. So it's always good for you to know your peers. I repeat, it's always good for you to know your peers. So apart from the majors, also gold, and even the Bitcoin as well. So we mentioned that if, as an example, if the dollar index is going up, you would expect the gold to go down. And if the dollar index is going down, you expect gold to do what? To be appreciating. So you can use the US dollar. You can use the US dollar as a form of gauge. I repeat, you can use the US dollar as a form of gauge to know the directional bias. I repeat, the directional bias for what? For the gold metal, right? And that's how you can be using a form of correlation in your trading. So I'm going to give you some more tips and tricks with respect to correlations so you know the right instruments to be looking at. When you talk about a trading plan, because everybody must have a trading plan. So when you talk about a trading plan, it's very important that we all have one. And then in your trading plan, it's important that you know the instrument. I repeat, it's important that you know the instrument that you are supposed to be looking at. So I can see more people are joining. You're welcome, right? So don't forget, let us know the trading issues that you are having, and we can quickly talk about it. This is more of a trading session and not a training session. So we're going to be talking strictly on the charts, happenings around the charts, and so on. Now, apart from the charts, we always say that you first of all start with the news, right? We're going to quickly cross over to the calendar now. We're going to quickly cross over to the calendar where we have the news. And if you are already conversant with how we do things here, we like to use the Forex Factory calendar. And this is the Forex Factory calendar in front of us. In this Forex Factory calendar, if you look very well, clearly, let me scroll up so you see better. You can see from this Forex Factory calendar, you can see the likes of Monday, which is this week, which we have Monday. And if you also notice, let me just do a quick rundown of this. Monday was May 1st, and then we have the time in which all the news came out. You can see all the time here. You can see all the currencies in question based on the news. And over here, you can see everything is red. Everything is red because we have sorted this with respect to the high impact news. It is the high impact news that we need to be knowledgeable about, because it's the high impact news that tends to cause volatility in the market. I repeat, it's the high impact news that tends to make the market to move in volatile manners, right? So it's very important that we understand this aspect, right? So now, based on the high impact news, we actually have the news over here, right? So these are all the news that came out throughout this week. So we need to pay attention to the news, because the news is a driving factor. It's more or less like a catalyst. When we say catalyst, it's what speeds up the reaction. So as an example, if price is moving from point A to point B, that is the directional bias from A to B. That A to B could be moving upwards or downwards. What the news, high impact news that is, what the high impact news normally does, it causes that serious volatility in the market that makes it to what? That makes it to appreciate in a very volatile manner, or makes it to depreciate in a very volatile manner, meaning that it speeds up the movement, right? Now, there's already a directional bias, but this news more or less makes it faster to get there. So we need to pay attention to the news. And of course, today is what? Today is Thursday, May 4th. So from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you'll notice that for the major currency, which is the US dollar, we've had news come out for the US dollar every day throughout this week. Every day. This is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then this is Thursday. The one for Thursday came out not too long ago. And then we have the big one. We have the big one, which is what we call the NFP. NFP. I'm sure some of us must have heard about the NFP, the non-farm payroll. We're going to be doing an exclusive tomorrow for the NFP. So most likely check on the schedule. We'll be starting a bit earlier. So for this NFP tomorrow, trust me, it carries very, very high volatility in the market. So this is actually one that you need to be careful with. By the way, I seriously hope that nobody has lost a big chunk of their account, because these are things that tend to happen in the market. I seriously hope that nobody has crashed their account this week, because we always say when you have a volatile week, such as what we can see over here based on the fundamentals, this fundamentals is based on the news, and the news over here is based on the scheduled news. So we have the likes of the scheduled news, and we have the likes of the breaking news. So breaking, of course, is all of a sudden. So we don't know. Nobody knows when a breaking news is going to occur. But scheduled news, we know, because when you say scheduled, it has a time, it has a date, and even it also has a bias. You have an idea what might happen with respect to that news. You can see we had this one on Thursday, and we have the big ones tomorrow. So always pay attention to the news. They are a driving factor. They are a driving force for the direction of price. So speaking of that, let's quickly switch over to our charts again. Let's cross over to our charts. As we said, it's a live trading session, so we don't necessarily need slides, because we are not teaching. We are more or less trading. So I'm going to be showing you a few things over here, right? So if you look at this in front of us, this has been the dollar this week. This has been the dollar this week. And looking at the dollar this week, the flow of the dollar, right, ever since getting to these highs over here, ever since getting to the highs, the flow has been to the downside. I repeat, the flow has been to the downside, meaning that we should be looking forward to what? More sell opportunities. I repeat, more sell opportunities. I remember we said news came out not too long ago, right, for the US dollar. And that news that came out not too long ago was for what? Was for the unemployment claims. Unemployment claims is a big factor, is a big indicator to know how an economy is faring, to know how a country is doing, right? Because at the end of the day, if the unemployment numbers, I repeat, and this is what you're going to be seeing more of tomorrow with respect to the non-farm payroll unemployment rate, right? Meaning that if the unemployment rate is low, if the employment I need to stress that aspect, because you have unemployment and you have employment. If the unemployment rate is low, that means that the country is doing well. It means that most people have jobs. And of course, that means that the economy of that country is going to be boosting, and it means that we should be buying into that currency. So you need to be able to understand the news. You need to be able to interpret the news and know when that news is actually good for that currency, or when that news is actually bad for that currency. You need to understand this. And that's what we're going to be looking at tomorrow with the NFP. The only thing now is that it's usually very fast. The volatility is very high. And you can see the volatility based on this candle. Wow. Look at this candle that we have in front of us. Volatility based on this candle, you know that the news that came out, as we said, approximately 1 hour ago, right, was very high, and that was for the US dollar. That news that came out about an hour ago, right, was very, very high, which was about 40 minutes ago, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm sure we usually pay attention to the news. We normally check the news to understand better, as we just said. So please always ensure, like in your trading ritual, in your trading routine, always ensure that you check the calendar before you check your charts. It's very, very important, right? Great. So I can see some of us here. Octavia Joyce talking about the Euro USD, and some others are talking about the JPY. Yes, there are other instruments that you can also be looking at as well. So it's a pleasure having everybody here. I can see you have Warren Hayden. So guys, it's a pleasure having you here. And don't forget, we always like to know where you are connecting to us from. As I said, I'm connecting from Canada in British Columbia. And if there's anybody in my city, we can always meet up for coffee and then discuss business. We can discuss the trading business. Because at the end of the day, We're all here to make money. And I always tell traders today that there are different ways to make money, right? In this industry, there are different ways to make money. As an example, you can make money from trading. Everybody knows about trading. But what about other ways? You can be a partner with brokers, right? You could be a YouTuber. You could be doing a whole lot of other things that you could, make money from education. And as we said earlier, this platform, Trading Live, is awesome because Trading Live is bringing us together from different parts of the world. I can see somebody's saying something about NASDAQ. We're going to talk about NASDAQ as well. The good thing about NASDAQ, I repeat, the good thing about NASDAQ now is that when you talk about the NASDAQ, you talk about the SPOs, which happens to be the S&P 500 and then the Dow Jones. Those three, they tend to move alike. So you can use them as a form of correlations. You can see we're talking about the dollar now. We're talking about the movement of dollar. And whenever we look at our charts, we are always looking at it with respect to support, resistance, supply, demand, which is strictly price action. I repeat, strictly price action, right? Supply, demand, support, resistance are similar, but yet slightly different. And as we always say, as a form of explanation for support resistance, whenever you have price move in this manner, let me switch over to my whiteboard to just quickly explain that to you. But then, guys, don't forget that this is not a training, but rather it's a trading session. But we try as much as possible to assist everybody with the right information, And trust me, you get the right information from Trading Live. You also have other instructors here on that Trading Live, right? So you can check them out. You have people talking about the news, talking about the technical, also giving explanations with respect to risk management, psychology, and a whole lot of other aspects about the business. Guys, it's not just about trading. You also need to know about the psychological aspects of the business, your emotions. How do you control your emotions? Traders have been struggling for years, majorly because of their emotions, not even about the trading strategy, because there is no trading strategy that is 100%. We all need to understand that. For you to understand your trading strategy effectively, right, you need to understand what? You need to understand when it works and when it's not going to work. And that's you keeping a journal. So there's some like step-by-step things that you need to know. You need to know step 1, there's step 2, there's step 3, and so on. And before you know it, your trading will be well grounded. So now I'm going to do something for you guys. I'm going to just map this out and then quickly explain the areas of support, resistance, and the areas of supply, demand, right? You can see what I've done here. I've done a movement from 1 to 2. So from 1 to 2, you can see it is moving downwards. As it's moving downwards, you can now clearly see that 1 is an area of resistance. 1 is an area of resistance, while 2 is an area of support. Support, especially when it goes up. Support is when the buyers are in there, and then resistance is when the sellers are in there. And you can see, as we're talking about, price has moved down and has moved up. And then when price now moves down again to the support area and then breaks the support area, when it breaks it in this manner, then that support, right? I'm going to do something now. This is the resistance. So I'm just going to draw something in a horizontal manner, and I'm using boxes for this. And then I'm going to draw another one here to represent the support, because I want to explain the support resistance as opposed to the supply demand so that we understand them better. So now look at what we have over here. This is support, but as it has broken out here, this other side turns to resistance. The other side turns to the resistance, right? While we have support resistance in effect over here, this area here is what we call an area of what? An area of supply. So I'm going to just write, I won't just write S so that you don't know, you don't confuse yourself with S here, S here. I'm going to write SU, SUP. So when I write SUP, or let me just write this in full, because SUP could also still look like support. So I'm going to write this in full, that this here is what? This here is supply. So we have this area here as supply. You can see the market is going lower and lower. So as it's going lower, what you are now interested in doing, you're interested in selling. So this is how you're going to be looking at price. So you're interested in selling, the price could come back, right? It could come back to the area of resistance, react to it. You have your trigger and then takes you further down. Or the price will go back to the supply, this area here of supply, react to it and go back. So if you look at it very well, the resistance and the supply are both telling you that you want to sell, right? But there are different areas. Remember we said that the support resistance and the supply demand are similar, but a bit different. The supply over here is believed to be the origin, right? It's believed to be the origin of the move. You can see this move is from here. This is the origin of this move, this leg down. So most traders as well, I won't say most traders, but some traders, because we have people that are trading in different ways. And don't forget, there's no strategy that is 100%. Different strategies would work at different times. So you need to understand your strategy by ensuring that you use a trading journal, right? And we might probably have a session maybe sometime next week, or we'll schedule something 2 weeks from now where we talk about the importance of a trading journal and how it's going to help you to improve in trading. Now, this is just a quick one, just explaining the support, resistance, supply, demand concept, and I hope it helps some of us here. We're going to do something now. I'm going to quickly jump into the chat. I'm going to jump into the chat and look at the comments, right, that we have here, and just because most times in a live session, I like to concentrate on comments, because I know some of us tend to talk about this instrument or that instrument, and you have a question or two, right? So I don't want to be too far so that I don't miss out on a lot of the comments here. Okay, so just a quick one on the comment section. Hi man, Edward, I can see you said the NFP is going to be crazy. Yes, of course, the NFP, which is one of the key data that the world more or less looks up to, right? Like the NFP, you have also the FOMC. We had the FOMC that came up yesterday. FOMC also is one that is very important. The CPI, the Consumer Price Index, also very important. PPI, important. So there's some key news, there's some key scheduled news that when they come out, when they're scheduled rather, we need to pay attention to them, right? Herman Dupont said, dollar going to the moon, the more she talks. Don't really understand that. Because if you look at the dollar, if you look at the dollar from the higher time frames, you know, you can always look at your instrument, right? You can always conduct your analysis from different time frames, from the high time frames, from the low time frames as well. When you look at it from the higher time frames, the dollar seems to be depreciating, right? I repeat, the dollar seems to be going down. Let me clean up what I have in front of us here. I'm just going to clean this up quickly and then switch back to the slide. I'm going to clean this up and then switch back to the slide. So we continue from the slide, and then we see what is happening on the slide. For somebody to be saying the dollar is going up, maybe you are looking at that with respect to the scalping point of view, because as we said, you can check it from different time frames. So these different time frames, by the way, earlier this week we talked about the trading plan, and in trading plan we talked about a few things with respect to your instruments, knowing your instruments, and also knowing the time frame that you are trading, because the time frame will help you to know the type of trader that you are. So you that you are saying is going to the moon, maybe you're looking at it from the scalper's point of view. Like maybe if you're looking at it from the 5 minutes time frame, you might probably see the big movements, this big movement, and then you might be saying it's going to the moon. Well, it depends on how you're looking at the market at the end of the day, right? And that would let you know the type of trader that you are. So quickly, still looking at the comment I have over here. Okay, Lebanon, I think Herman Dupont said it's from Lebanon. We have Javi Zacharias from Tennessee in the US. Beautiful. As we always say, Trading Live is a wonderful platform that is bringing traders, is bringing us, is connecting us from different parts of the world, different time zones, different cultures, different everything. But then we're here to share a common goal, and that is what? To make money from the business of trading, right? To make money from the business of trading. Awesome. So guys, you're welcome, everybody. Hoa Mary, and also apologies, guys, if I don't pronounce your names well. Hoa Mary said, check USD JPY. Okay, we'll check USD JPY. Always let us know the time frame that you're interested in. But then a quick one, as we always say, pay attention to the dollar. Dollar is king. Dollar is very important when it talks about the movements for like the major currency pairs and gold as well. So if you look at here on this dollar, we said something that on the dollar this week is more or less down, and it's more or less down this week because this week it started pushing higher, but clearly we can see that it's now to the downside. And as to the downside, the major things we want to see on our charts would be our level. So we're looking at the level with respect to this week. And you can see we have the supply that we have mapped out over here, and then you can see price retrace to the supply. As a matter of fact, yesterday and other days, I always say the only tool that you catch on my chart majorly is the Fibonacci. Fibonacci is a good one for retracements, and that's why it's called Fibonacci retracement. And when we talk about retracement, it's based on you going with that trend. It's based on you trading with that trend. So you must be more or less a trend trader. So you can see from here, price is going down. As price is going down, we can clearly say what we can clearly say that we're expecting the price to retrace. And you can see we have this area here of, and this area here also of what? Of supply. And you can see price has retraced to the areas of supply, and you have confluence with 38.2, 50, and 61.8. You have confluence, and then you have your trigger. You can see you don't really have a trigger here, just this big candle, and then a reaction to this downside. And this is 1 hour time frame. One thing I always tell traders that you can always do, you can always switch time frames lower. But please, if you do not know how to control this, you're not sure what to look out for, do not do this. Stick to the same time frame. The only disadvantage of that is that you might miss out on a lot of good trades that might work, but you do not have a trigger. But an advantage of when you cross over to a lower time frame like this, maybe 30 minutes or maybe 15 minutes and so on, is that you might find something on the lower time frames that will give you a reason for entry. This here is looking similar to an engulfing, but not exactly. But someone could easily use this as a trigger, but I really don't like it because the highs, let me just zoom in a bit, the highs of this candle, right, that is meant to engulf the previous one, did not go above. Normally, you would like your candles to look something like this. This is a candle here, and then the other candle engulfs it, meaning that it swallows it, it encompasses it. So this would be a nice engulfing, right? But that is not the case of what we have in front of us, right? So whatever time frame, you can always drop down and then look for your trigger somewhere. You find your trigger, please pull the trigger. That's why we call it a trigger. Some traders trade without triggers. They just rely on the area of interest, confluence, and so on. You can test on different variations at the end of the day. So for the dollar, dollar is going down. Look for selling on the dollar. Time is on the Euro USD. Look for buying opportunities on the dollar. You can see what you have here, the reactions here, and so on. So I want us to quickly look at the USD JPY. I'm going to use this chart to switch over to the USD JPY, and then we'll look at it. Don't forget, because we are expecting the dollar, right, to drop, that means that for the USD JPY, we should be expecting the USD JPY to drop as well, meaning that we should be looking for sell opportunities. And you can see the wave that we have over here because price tends to move in waves. So this is the latest wave over here on this hourly time frame. Don't forget, I personally like to use 1 hour time frame. It's not too fast, it's not too slow for me. It's very, very conducive. So for the USD JPY that somebody said we should check on, we're looking at it now. Sorry, let me adjust this. As we're looking at this now, and quickly, I'm just mapping out the areas of supply, where I'm interested in price shots in selling. Meaning that from what we have in front of us, I'm interested in price retracing to this area here where I get to sell based on a trigger, or price retracing to this area here where I get to sell on a trigger for this week, majorly for this week. I can see this is the wave we're talking about here, and that means that for this particular wave, I can put up my Fibonacci, and if it has confluence with the supply areas, that should give us more confidence. And yes, it did. It does have. This first one has confluence with like the 50 area of interest, while this one has confluence with the 61.8. Anything past the 61.8, I'm not interested in it, right? Because it has passed the threshold for that Fibonacci retracement levels. You can read up more on Fibonacci retracement. It's a very simple but yet powerful tool. And of course, I'm a simple person. I don't like to complicate things. So So you will never ever see too many things on my chart personally. So I've just explained this for our Mary. Let me just breeze through. And also apologies, guys. Apologies, as I won't be able to, go over everybody's comment because of time. And then I always say you guys can chat me up privately. When we say privately, I have my Instagram handle that you can follow and then chat me up, send me a DM. I see the DM, and then I'll reply you, because we have people talking about some other instruments here that I obviously will not be able to look into. Right. So somebody said, Rosalind said, USD is going up, but that makes it more volatile. When you say going up, that means that you're looking at it from the short time frame. Look at it from the daily. Look at it from this year. From this year, first of all, it was bullish. Now it is giving us bearish vibes. So when you look at it from the higher time frames, do not be surprised. I repeat, do not be surprised when the dollar gets like $100, right? Or when the dollar USD gets to about 95.50 area. Mean that I personally am expecting some further bearish moves for the dollar. That means that for the euro USD, it is going to appreciate. That means that for gold as well, we're going to have more appreciation. So you need to understand your correlations as well. So quickly, EU is done. Not really sure what you mean by EU is done. Then Mick Christian said psychology is important. Yes, we mentioned psychology. That psychology is very, very important indeed. It's actually 10%. Your trading is actually 10% strategy, and then it is 90% psychology, because you could give one strategy to two people. It could work the same exact strategy you give to two people. It works for one, does not work for the other. So why did it work for one and why did it not work for the other? Is the psychology, is the emotion behind the traders. Sally Lucas said ECB rate hike was expected and euro markets, DAX, CAC, FTSE, and all down are expected to. EU moving as expected. Yes, you could say that as well, because when you talk about the calendar, remember we talk about the news. We only talked about the USD majorly. Of course, you have news that come out for other instruments, like the euro you mentioned earlier with respect to the hike in rate. We're expecting 3.75, and that's what we got earlier today. And that was just before the unemployment claims news. We got that earlier, and it happened to be 3.75, right? So we had a lot of hike in the interest rates of late, and of course that has been as a result of the rising inflation, especially from last year. And rising inflation, was brought about from a lot of things. I always tell traders, from my own perspective, it came about from the COVID era. That's when it said to pick up, it snowballed more when you had the likes of the war in Ukraine, Russia. The world at large is, I won't say it's in a mess, but the world at large is rather shaky when you talk about a lot of things, geopolitical tensions. You have Ukraine, you have Russia, you have Thailand, China, you have South Korea, North Korea. You have a lot of things happening here and there. But at the same time, it's for us to be able to read and understand the market. And that's the good thing for us traders. Whether it's good information happening in the world or bad information, we can always take advantage and buy or sell and then make money, right? Okay, just quickly breezing through the comments over here. I can see Jane Raline said, what's the difference between support and resistance versus supply and demand? I believe, Jane, from the explanation I gave, because I'm just going over your comments here, I believe the explanation I gave is clear enough earlier. I want to believe that you caught up on that explanation. Let me know in the comment section. And I have a lot of comments here. I'm just trying to breeze through them. I might go a bit faster on the comment section here. Let's see quickly. Somebody said, is Lagarde speaking right now? I really don't think so. I have to check the calendar again. I don't think she's oh yes, she was. That's for the ECB press conference. Yes. Yeah, so you need to also be checking your calendar from time to time. One thing about the calendar, pay attention to the high impact that we mentioned earlier. And for the high impact, make sure you are aware of the timing and make sure you're aware of the news. It could be a speech, it could be a direct news, or whatever the case may be, high impact. that would easily cause some volatility in the market. This week, as we have been saying right from Tuesday, is that, or rather right from Monday, because we had our trading plan session on Monday. So we've been talking about the market this week right from Monday. I said this market this week has been busy, and we said it was going to be busy, and it is busy, and it's still going to get busy the more, especially with the NFP, the non-farm payroll tomorrow. Okay, GPUSD going down. Okay, we might probably look at that later if we have time for that. As I always say, I most times don't want us to go past 30 minutes marker when we have our discussions. Mean that we'll just go straight to the point, give you information on what we're looking at today, just some little things here and there based on the fundamentals and based on the technicals as well. And then hopefully it helps some of us out to understand better. I can see Jean Coverdale said, what important news do we have for today? I believe we've just talked about that as well. You can cross over to your calendar, right? I'm just going to switch back to the calendar quickly so that we can look at the other news that we have coming out. So you could catch up on that, because apart from the US dollar, we have other news coming out as well. So let me just quickly switch up on that. This is Thursday. You can see the news, right? The ECB, as Lagarde was on the wires. I'm not sure whether she's still on the wires. I need to double check on that. And then also later today, we have the CAD. We also have Macklem, the Bank of Canada's governor, will be on the wires as well, giving a speech. So that will be all for the high impact news for today, Thursday. So pay attention for the high impact news. And of course, the currency. That's what we said for your trading plan. Know your instrument. I repeat, for the trading plan, know your instrument that you are trading. If it is CAD, you are trading maybe like the USD CAD, JPY, Euro CAD. Pay attention to the news coming out at about 5:50, where Macklem will be on the wires. You could check Forex Live, you could check other platforms, Bloomberg, Reuters, to have an idea of what he's talking about and to have maybe an idea with respect to the sentiment. So you would have like a directional bias as well, right, for that. But I always tell traders, do not trade directly the news. You cannot trade the news directly, right? Because if something comes out on the news and says it's bullish, it could easily be bearish at the end of the day, strictly based on what? Based on where the price is going to. Because if you want to buy and you're expecting to go up when the news drops, it could easily be going down. It could be going down to an area of support, also an area of demand where you're expecting buyers to be. You're expecting pending orders to be. You're expecting orders, right? Pending orders like you buy limits and the likes to be waiting at that point, right, for traders to jump in on. Okay, some more comments before we round up. And as I'm going to say, you can chat me up on Instagram, and that is at CSA Forex, the name of the academy, right? For those just joining me or joining us for the first time on that Trading Live platform. The name of my academy is CSA Forex, which stands for Common Sense Approach to Forex Trading. Basically, common sense approach to trading. You can use this common sense approach, supply, demand, support, resistance, price action. You can use it for whether it's the currencies, Forex, or whether it is cryptocurrency. You're trading the likes of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Luna, and the rest, or you're trading stocks, Amazon, Google, Facebook, or whatever you're trading. It's still the same thing, because price is going to go up, price is going to go down, and that is price action for you, right? Lawrence said the market will be very volatile. Exactly, we've been seeing that. You've been seeing some movements up, down, heavy movements. Heloise Constant said tomorrow is the NFP. Yes, indeed, and we'll be on the wires and we'll be paying attention to the NFP just before the NFP and during the NFP as well. We'll be looking at the news because it's going to be a big one to end the week. And guys, if you made profits this week already, try your best not to be too aggressive, not to be too what's the word? I've forgotten the word, but try your best not to give back the profit that you have made. I repeat, not try your best not to give back the profit that you have made during the week already for the news coming out tomorrow. Let's see. Heloise now said, I feel nervous from now. You don't need to. If you don't know what's going on in the market, just stay out, sit on your hands. And that's what I tend to do as well. Berton Wesley, short USD, chef, break order block. So unfortunately, you might not be able to look at the charts for that, or maybe I could just quickly breeze through that particular chart that you mentioned. Let me just clean this up first of all, and then we switch over to the charts quickly. And we look at the USD chart as you mentioned. Looking at USD chart, don't forget, based on the dollar, you can see the dollar is going down. So expecting the USD chart to also be going down, meaning that you should be looking for sell opportunities. And this is the USD chart over here. Looking for sell opportunities, voila. You can see we already mapped this out even before talking about it. And you can see that price did what? Price came out to this area here of supply, right? And you can see the reaction here is going down. So don't be surprised when the price gets back to these lows over here, which happens to be support, and then we see whether it's going to break out, right, or whether it's going to bounce, right? So you need more clues. You need more clues at the end of the day. What is going to happen whenever price gets to the levels or areas or zones? Levels, areas, or zones, whether it's support, resistance, or supply, demand. Try to have a good enough understanding of the flow of the market so that you can be with the flow. Well, you can be against the flow as well if you're a counter trend trader, right? Okay, just quickly breezing through. What do you think regarding Euro USD? Is it short-term view or long-term? For the long-term for Euro USD, I'm looking at it being bullish. This is Q2. This is May, right? The second month in second quarter, Q2. And of course, so far so good. The year for me has been ranging for the dollar, that is, and now it's showing more downside, right? So if the dollar continues to drop, then expect the euro USD on the long-term frame to appreciate and appreciate the more. When we say appreciate the more, we can expect the euro USD to appreciate to the likes of maybe 1.14 area, right? And that's from the higher time frames. For the higher time frames, you're using like your 4 hours daily, weekly time frame for your analysis. Okay, just breezing through, how can you manage your emotions while losing? Now, when it comes to this question, it's a good one. How do you manage your emotions? First of all, your emotions, what you need to first of all ask yourself the other question. Why are your emotions all over the place? In order for you to be able to manage your emotions, this is coming from Betty Sharp. Betty Sharp said, how can I manage my emotions while losing? For you to manage your emotions, first of all, ask yourself, what makes your emotions to be all over the place? Probably you not using a stop loss, right? So work on using stop loss in your trading, and also majorly based on the risk, based on the lot size, based on the volume that you are using. Also, it tends to make our emotions to be all over the place, because as you mentioned, losing, especially losing, nobody likes losses. We like profit, profit, profit. But this business is not going to be all profits. You're going to have losers. You're going to have losses as well. Sorry for the English. So you're going to have losses. It is very key that we understand that. And once you understand that and you have agreed that you are going to have losses, then it is now for you to ensure that those losses are well minimized, right? Minimize your losses and then maximize your profits. So make sure, Betty Sharp, that your risk management is on point with respect to your account balance. Your volume lot size should be tied to the account balance that you are trading. Do not be using a lot size of one standard and your account balance is $100. That would make your emotions to be on the high. That could even raise your blood pressure and all, because when you see the losses, they are too big for the account, and then it won't go down well. And then you also said, and how can I learn risk management? I have a course that you could look into, right? I have a course that you can subscribe for that. And you could go over to like my website, www.csaforex/course. I could put up the link here for anybody that might be interested in that, where for the course, you could subscribe to it. It's just $197. But when you subscribe to it, let me know. You can chat me up also on Instagram, and I'll give you a bonus. For the risk management, I have a calculator that I came up with, right, on Excel. And that calculator, it will help you to be able to easily determine, I repeat, to be able to easily determine your, your risk, your volume, your lot size. So I'm going to drop that in the comment section here for those that might be interested in the course. And if you do subscribe to the course, it's $197. Subscribe to it and then chat me up on Instagram. I'll give you bonus, right? Risk management calculator. I'll also give you bonus of the trading plan so that you can easily sort out your trading plan, and then the trading journal that will help you to trade accordingly. We're going to be rounding up within the next few minutes. So Apologies, Elton Archibald. I won't be able to look at Euro AUD and Euro NZD, but you can chat me up on Instagram and I'll do some chats with explanations for you, right? Betsy Sharp also said, I know this is very, very important. Yes, indeed, it's very, very important, risk management in trading. Sandra Needham said, can you teach us some safe strategies? As I said, this is more or less trading and not training. I'm not really here to start teaching. I can't teach in a live market analysis session. Is for us to look at charts and see what we can make out of charts and then see how we can make pips, which equals to money, right? So if you want to know more about strategies, you can chat me up on Instagram and then we'll see how we can schedule something for you. Elidora said France is showing their love for the government every day. CBDC will destroy the middle class emo. Okay, we have some comments here. I'm not really sure what we're talking about. Okay, let's just breeze through the comments because I have some people talking about some instruments. Sorry, guys. Want to round this up. Can't switch over to other comments over here. So other chats rather. Chat me up on Instagram. Hit me up on a DM. I'll do a chat for you, and then the chat will have explanations. I'll do some writings and all just to help you out. Okay, so guys, I want to say thank you. Just trying to breeze through the comments, many comments I have here. I have a lot of them, sorry. So I have a lot of comments. So I'm just trying to breeze through. I'm not able to read up on all of them, obviously. Someone said BTC falling heavily. BTC, let me see what you're talking about on the BTC, on the Bitcoin. You said falling heavily. Not really sure about that, but let me just quickly put that up because we might also have traders that are also into the Bitcoin. Do we have Bitcoin here? This is the Bitcoin daily. For the Bitcoin daily, I have it in a wedge and I have some demand here. This is the daily time frame. So let me use this chart here and then switch over to Bitcoin hourly. And since it said dropping heavily, I can't really see anything dropping heavily. There's a drop here right now to speak. Maybe you're looking at this from the lower time frame that is giving you that perception that dropping heavily. This is not really a heavy drop if you ask me, right? This could even just be a mere retracement. Okay, that's for the person that said Bitcoin is dropping heavily. Okay, so that's from Winnie Macadam, right? Okay, so that's just breezing through. NFP is coming tomorrow. Yes, indeed, NFP is coming tomorrow. That's from Ophelia Jerry. Guys, be careful with NFP tomorrow. If you're not sure based on the direction for tomorrow, just sit on your hands and you can watch, or do not even be in front of your system tomorrow. Very important. I will be, but it doesn't mean I'll be trading directly. I'll be here for a session tomorrow where we'll be looking at NFP based on the numbers we've been having, based on the reaction we've been having, and also based on possible reaction to the market, especially also based on what we've been having this week. But I can give you a quick clue now on NFP and how it relates to the news, right? How it relates to the charts, rather, trading strategy and all trading basically. NFP, or rather the dollar has been weak, has been dropping this week. So we are due for pullback. So if we don't have the pullback today, that strong pullback today, then I expect probably the NFP will help us with that. So let's see how that goes down tomorrow. Yes, we're going live tomorrow. Jeremiah will be live tomorrow for the NFP. So join us by that time. For UK time is 1:30 p.m. So based on your own time zone, adjust it to your time zone based on where you're connecting to us from, right? 1:30 p.m. UK time, that's when we have the news for the dollar NFP. All right, so it's going to be explosive period for NFP and also for card pairs. Okay. Athena Wilhelmina, yes, we have live stream tomorrow, as I just said now, NFP tomorrow. So guys, we hope that this has been helpful to some of us, and we hope that some of the things we've talked about have made sense and you have learned one thing or the other that should help your trading out and for you to improve. Okay, Polychurch said we'll check this link later. Awesome, check the link. Chat me up also on Instagram. If you guys need any assistance, let me know. You chat me up, it should just be the two of us. You can see I've been breezing through a lot of comments here, so apologies also if I didn't read out your comments and all. But chat me up privately and I'll be able to give you orders on Instagram at CSA Forex. Sadi Lucas, please chat me up. I'm running up now and I will do something for you on gold, as you just mentioned gold now. So I want to say thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for the opportunity from Trading Live to be able to have a chit chat with people from different parts of the world. I'm here in BC, Canada, and my time is almost 7 a.m. here, right? So some of us might be 10 a.m. if you are in the ESC Eastern region, or it's about almost 3 p.m. if you are in UK, the Europe region, or even Africa, thereabout. Okay, so I want to say thank you guys. Thank you. That's been a good one. We will see you same time tomorrow where we'll discuss the market. Please, or rather, we'll see you 30 minutes earlier than usual, or rather, sorry, apologies. Check the schedule. It's 1 hour earlier because we're going to be doing a pre-NFP discussion, and then we'll look at the NFP and even post-NFP discussion as well to see what the NFP resulted in. So guys, please try not to lose your account and all. Try not to lose heavily tomorrow because the market is bound to be volatile, extremely volatile tomorrow. So thank you guys for joining me. It has been a good one. If you have any questions, reach me up on Instagram at CSA Forex, and I'll definitely give you the audience. Thank you guys, and goodbye. I remain Tolu of CSA Forex. Cheers. God bless.